The energy giant BP has more than doubled its earnings from the year before. They earned £23 billion in profits after energy prices surged higher because of the war in Ukraine. Shadow's Climate Secretary Ed Miliband is calling on the government to bring forward a proper windfall tax on energy companies after BP announced its biggest yearly profit in history. Howard Cox is the founder of FairFuelUK. Good morning, Howard. I've spoken to you several times over the last few months, and when we've been raging about these massive prices that we're paying at the pumps, you and I have both said, let's just wait and see what their profits are like, because I'm sure in the current climate they won't cream off any profit out of this situation. Oh, guess what? That's exactly what they've done. What's your response?
Well, people are filling up at BP and Shell garages this morning and seeing the headlines will be sickened, because what we're seeing, again, it is profiteering on the basis of no incredible business acumen, no creative marketing, no new product development or new product introduction from these big oil giants. It's simply they control what we pay at the pumps and what we pay in terms of energy around the world. They are ripping and fleecing motorists dry, and it's ridiculous. I'm not a great fan of windfall taxes, but I'm moving towards that direction. But what I would like to see is more on control of how they price fuel, and that's why yesterday I spent a lot of time in Parliament talking to people like Priti Patel, Craig McKinley, Jonathan Gullis and others. We should introduce a thing called Pump Watch, and I've spoken about this to you before.
Yeah. I think it's a great idea. What was the response then at Westminster? What were those very key, influential people saying to you? Do they get it, Howard? Do they understand why people are so angry?
Yes, they do. And I have to say, I was very encouraged. I've got about 46 backbench MPs who've signed letters to Jeremy Hunt and also to Grant Shapps, the business secretary, to say, please, can we get something in place to stop this opportunistic profiteering? And that's the base of it. Since the announcement of Shell and BP, I've had double the amount of emails coming through saying, calling for Pump Watch. It's a funny sort of thing. Looking at their profits, I've done a quick back of a fag packet calculation. If they actually had made a 2 billion less profit, we could actually see pump prices down something like 10 to 15p per litre. That's the sort of thing we could do. And the dividends would still be the same for their shareholders. Well,
the BP chief executive, Bernard Looney, says that it is nominative determinism, perhaps, says that it is their plant reliability and the low cost of production that helped them generate strong returns. So, they're just smart businessmen, not loonies at all. We shouldn't be angry at them doing well, apparently.
No, I'm all for profit. I'm just against profiteering. It's a cliche, maybe, but that's the facts of life. But what I do see in the small print of his statement, that this is all going to be invested in green energy. At the moment, we're in a cost of living crisis. People can't afford to heat their homes or fill their cars up, and small businesses. And we've got so many anti-driver legislations going through, what with the ULEZ and the wonderful undemocratic things going on in London at the moment. We need to all come together and get some sense in terms of what we're paying. If we cut fuel duty and if we actually put Pump Watch in place, inflation would rocket downwards and we would have a cost of living crisis much lessened. And that's what we could be doing. And yesterday, the MPs I spoke to were right behind what I said.
Well, that is really encouraging, Howard. Just to explain to people how Pump Watch would work, who would be in control of that? I'm guessing you. I want you in charge of the whole industry, frankly.
Thank you, Beth. Very kind of you. There are several MPs have actually recommended me. Andrea Leadsom, for one, wants me to be the Pump Watch Commissioner, which is quite funny. But no, the way it would work, I'm not a great believer in legislation and controlling of bodies. I mean, Ofgem, Ofcom, Ofwat haven't been a successful set of bodies, have they, with what's happening recently? But what it would work is, what we're asking for is garages, when they go in every morning, is to type in 2 or 3 numbers into a database, which would tell what the current prices they're charging on the forecourts for petrol, diesel and LPG. And that will go to a central database where we could actually build in the oil price changes, local regional variations in terms of cost of real estate of garages, because the cost of a garage in London, in Westminster, is more than something, say, in Cumbria. So there would be certain things. And then we will put a recommended price, what it should be, based on a fair profit levels. Now, we're not talking profit capping or profit control. We're simply making information transparent, fair and honest. And at the moment, if that works, that will be a voluntary scheme. If they don't adhere to this voluntary scheme, then we would move to a full-blown legislative process.